May 29th, 1940. 06:55 hours. Dunkirk, France. The sky splits open with sound nobody recognizes. 8 UH-60 Blackhawk helicopters from 2025 materialize above burning beaches, where 340,000 British soldiers wait to die. Lieutenant Colonel Marcus Harrison, 42 years old, United States Army Aviation, watches his instruments fail simultaneously. GPS dead, compass spinning, radio silent. Below him stretches impossible scene. Beaches packed with men in World War II uniforms. Ships from history books. Burning city with skyline that predates modern architecture by 80 years. Captain Tyler Blackwood comes over intercom. Lead, this is 2. I'm seeing actual World War II down there. Harrison recognizes scene from every history course he ever took. Operation Dynamo. Dunkirk evacuation. May 26th through June 4th, 1940.
What is that contraption?
Except today is May 29th, 2025. Or it was 30 seconds ago. Chief Warrant Officer Phoenix Rivers, 30 years aviation experience, confirms visual. All units, those are British Expeditionary Force uniforms, 1940s pattern. We just traveled back in time. Staff Sergeant Dylan Cooper leans from the door and sees soldiers pointing skyward in terror and wonder. Sergeant Jackson Sterling watches German muzzle flashes 3 miles inland. Tracer rounds arc toward beaches. This is not exercise. This is war. 8 Blackhawks. 32 crew members total, full fuel tanks, modern weapons, zero explanation for what just happened. Harrison makes only decision that makes sense. All units, we're landing. Find ranking officer. We need information. His Blackhawk descends toward clear section of beach. Downwash blasts sand in all directions. Major Jeffrey Thornton, 2nd Battalion Coldstream Guards. 3 days holding perimeter against German mechanized infantry. Half his battalion lost. No time for insanity, but these machines hovering above his beach, undeniably real. Harrison explains situation in quick, precise terms. 8 helicopters. Each can carry 12 to 14 men depending on equipment load. Fuel for approximately 2 hours flight time. Round trips to England under 40 minutes including loading. Mathematics, simple. 6 sorties per helicopter equals 48 total loads, equals potentially 576 men evacuated before fuel runs out. Thornton looks at Blackhawk. Door-mounted M240 machine gun. Digital displays visible through cockpit glass. Composite materials making up airframe. He has seen enough. Right. We have priorities. 23 Royal Engineers who know how to defuse German demolitions. 8 guards officers carrying operational intelligence, 17 medics who are irreplaceable, 56 wounded who will die if they don't get surgery within 6 hours. Harrison nods and issues orders. All Blackhawks, this is lead, priority evacuation. Engineers, officers, wounded first, load 12 per bird, Dover and back. Time now 07:15, first sortie launches in 10 minutes. Loading begins. British soldiers approach helicopters with reverence and terror in equal measure. Many never seen aircraft up close. None seen anything like these machines. Corporal Nathan Brooks, medic on Harrison's bird, helps load wounded onto stretchers that clip into Blackhawk's deck. Private First Class Connor Mason, loadmaster, counts heads and distributes weight for balance. German pilots regroup at 3,000 feet and analyze their failure. These are not ordinary aircraft. They maneuver impossibly. Speed good, but not overwhelming. Altitude ceiling appears limited. Lead pilot Oberleutnant Klaus Richter has flown over Spain and Poland. He understands tactics. These machines are helicopters, though that word does not exist in German military vocabulary yet. They rely on rotor lift. They are vulnerable to damage. They cannot outclimb fighters. He issues orders to his wingmen. Set up barrier patrol. Force them to fly through our formation. Hit them on attack run, not the break. Sortie 3 proceeds at 1200 hours. Blackhawks have evacuated 188 men so far. 400 more wait on beach. Major Thornton has organized evacuation priorities with brutal efficiency. Engineers first, intelligence officers second, irreplaceable specialists third. Common infantry will wait. Many will die waiting. This is mathematics of military triage. Harrison knows this. He also knows every man he saves is man who might father children, might invent something, might save other lives. Butterfly effect of this intervention incalculable. German fighter patrol waiting at 4,000 feet, positioned directly on flight path between Dover and Dunkirk. Oberleutnant Richter has split his formation. One aircraft stays high as spotter, two descend to attack altitude. When Blackhawks appear at 12:20 hours, Germans dive from sun. 19:30 hours, sun setting over Dunkirk. Sky burns orange and red. City behind beach is forest of flames. Ocean reflects fire. In this hell, 7 Blackhawk helicopters descend for their final approach. This is Sortie 6, last chance. 108 men remain on beach, including crew of damaged helicopter. Harrison has enough fuel for one round trip. After this, Blackhawks will be stranded in 1940 with empty tanks and no way home. Mission will end where it began, with questions that have no answers. Major Thornton approaches Harrison's helicopter with last group of evacuees. His face shows exhaustion beyond physical limits. "Colonel, we have problem. I count 104 men, including your crew. Your birds hold 12 each. That's 96 seats for 104 men. Someone stays behind." Harrison does mathematics instantly. 8 men will not fit. He looks at British soldiers. They have been waiting for 6 hours, watching others leave, knowing they might be abandoned. Their faces show resignation mixed with desperate hope. These are men who held line longest. They deserve better. Harrison makes decision that will haunt him forever. "Cooper, Sterling, Brooks, Mason, Carter, you 5 stay with me. We're rear guard. We make sure everyone else gets out." His crew looks at him with expressions that span from shock to understanding to acceptance. They are professional soldiers. They know what this means. Blackwood, recovered from damaged helicopter, steps forward. "Colonel, I'm not leaving you here. My bird, my responsibility." Harrison shakes head. "Negative. You're going back. Someone needs to tell them what happened here. Someone needs to be witness." Chief Warrant Officer Rivers, senior pilot after Harrison, understands command. "All pilots, this is 3. I have operational control. Load all remaining evacuees. Maximum capacity. We're taking everyone." Loading begins with desperate speed. 14 men per helicopter instead of 12. Operation Dynamo ran from May 26th to June 4th, 1940. Total evacuated, 338,226 men. This number is historical fact verified by British and French military records, cross-referenced by German intelligence reports, documented in thousands of personal accounts. Evacuation was accomplished by 842 vessels, ranging from Royal Navy destroyers to private fishing boats 12 feet long. It was called Miracle of Dunkirk. It saved British Expeditionary Force. It made D-Day possible. It changed war. Historical record contains no mention of helicopters. No contemporary accounts describe machines that could hover in place or fly backward. No German after-action reports mention engagement with unknown aircraft. No British evacuation logs record 576 men transported by impossible means. Official history is clean, consistent, and complete. But history is written by survivors, and survivors sometimes lie to protect secrets they cannot explain. In Dover Maritime Museum, there exists a collection of personal accounts from Dunkirk veterans. Most describe waiting on beaches, boarding small boats, terror of Luftwaffe attacks. 3 accounts buried in archives that few researchers examine describe something different. Theory 1. Mass hallucination. 576 British and French soldiers, plus 32 American aircrew, plus approximately 200 German witnesses, all experienced identical detailed hallucination lasting 14 hours. This requires coordinated psychological break across 3 nationalities, multiple time zones under combat stress conditions. Probability, effectively 0. Mass hallucinations do not leave physical evidence. These accounts include specific details that match between testimony from soldiers who never met. Theory 2. Experimental aircraft. British or Americans tested revolutionary rotary wing aircraft during Dunkirk evacuation. This requires technology 39 years ahead of development timeline, perfect operational security during chaos, and motivation to risk experimental prototypes in combat zone. Records show first successful helicopter flight was Igor Sikorsky's VS-300 in 1941. This flew for 15 seconds and could not carry passengers. Idea that operationally capable combat helicopters existed in 1940 contradicts every engineering document from period. Theory 3. Time displacement. Lieutenant Colonel Marcus Harrison, flight leader, returned to Fort Campbell with memories of 14 hours that took 0 elapsed time. He flew 700 more combat hours in Syria and Ukraine. He trained 3 generations of helicopter pilots. He married, had 2 children, lived ordinary life punctuated by dreams of burning beaches and men who looked at him like he was miracle incarnate. He died in 2062 of heart failure at age 79. His last words to his daughter were, "I saved them. Tell them I saved them." She thought he meant his crew. He meant 576 ghosts who lived because he broke time itself. Captain Tyler Blackwood, wingman and survivor of damaged helicopter, received Distinguished Flying Cross for actions during time displacement event that officially never happened. He left Army aviation in 2030 and became commercial pilot. He flew Boeing 737s for Delta Airlines for 22 years. He never told his passengers that he once flew Blackhawk through time to save British soldiers from Nazi Germany. He died in 2065. His family donated his unpublished memoir to Aviation History Museum, where it sits in archives cataloged under Fiction Personal. Chief Warrant Officer Phoenix Rivers, senior pilot, continued flying until mandatory retirement at age 65. He accumulated 13,000 flight hours across 6 decades. He testified before Classified Military Review Board in 2026. His testimony was sealed. He told Board, "I do not know how it happened. I know it did happen. I know we saved lives that history says were saved by other means. I am comfortable with that paradox." He died in 2073. His logbook shows entry for May 29, 2025. 14 hours of combat flight time, with notation, Dunkirk evacuation, Operation Dynamo, 0 casualties. Staff Sergeant Dylan Cooper, crew chief and machine gunner, became weapons instructor at Fort Benning after returning from time displacement. He taught advanced gunnery techniques to special operations soldiers. He never mentioned that he once killed 43 German Wehrmacht soldiers using machine gun that would not be invented for 35 years. He died in 2070 at age 68. Sergeant Jackson Sterling, door gunner, left active duty in 2032 and joined private military contractor. He married 3 times. Each marriage ended when he tried to explain that he had traveled through time. His 3rd wife believed him. They stayed married 41 years. He died in 2081 at age 86. His tombstone reads, "Husband, father, soldier, time traveler." Corporal Nathan Brooks, medic, became physician after leaving military. He specialized in emergency medicine. He saved estimated 4,700 lives across 50-year career. He died in 2085 at age 89. His published memoir, Medicine Across Time, included chapter about Dunkirk that editor insisted be moved to appendix marked speculative fiction. Private First Class Connor Mason. Loadmaster became aircraft mechanic. He worked on civilian helicopters for 40 years, maintaining perfect safety record. He died in 2077 at age 74. His toolbox, donated to Smithsonian, contained piece of metal tagged Dunkirk Beach, May 1940 Impossible Souvenir. Specialist Wyatt Carter. Communications specialist, earned PhD in quantum physics. He published 17 papers on temporal mechanics. He died in 2068 at age 66. His final paper, published posthumously, was titled, "I Was There, Quantum mechanical analysis of temporal displacement during Operation Dynamo, 1940. What if question 1? What if helicopters had not appeared? Historical analysis shows Operation Dynamo evacuated 338,000 men using conventional means. Remove 576 men from that total, and difference is statistically insignificant. 0.17% of total evacuation. Mission had minimal numerical impact. But among those 576 were 12 Royal Engineers, who later designed Mulberry artificial harbors for D-Day. Remove them, and Normandy invasion faces different logistics. 8 Guards officers later became intelligence analysts who cracked German codes. Remove them, and Enigma decryption slows. 17 medics later trained 300 doctors. Mathematics of butterfly effect suggests 576 lives saved in 1940 creates cascade affecting millions by 2025. What if question 2? What if helicopters had stayed permanently? 8 UH-60 Blackhawks with full crews and ammunition represent military advantage that could change early war. British reverse-engineer composite materials, turbine engines, avionics systems. Technology jump of 39 years compresses into months. British helicopters operational by 1941. Germany loses air superiority over Mediterranean. North Africa campaign ends 2 years early. Italy surrenders in 42 instead of 43. War ends in 1943. Germany occupied. Holocaust interrupted. 6 million lives not taken. Or German scientists capture crashed helicopter, analyze technology, accelerate their own programs. Jet fighters operational in 41. Atomic bomb by 43. Timeline diverges toward nightmare. What if question 3? What if more helicopters had come? 8 Blackhawks evacuated 576 men. 80 helicopters could evacuate 5,760 men. 800 helicopters could evacuate all of Dunkirk in single day. Entire British Expeditionary Force plus French units extracted in 14 hours with 0 casualties. Germany faces intact Allied army on British soil. Invasion of Britain impossible. War shifts immediately to strategic bombing and Atlantic submarine warfare. Without ground victory in France, Hitler cannot pivot to Eastern Front with confidence. Operation Barbarossa delays or cancels. Soviet Union not attacked in 1941. Millions of lives saved. What if question 4? What if other time displacements occurred? Dunkirk event is documented by 300 witnesses across 3 nations. What if there are others? What if modern forces appear at Gettysburg with repeating rifles, at Waterloo with machine guns, at Thermopylae with artillery? Historical analysis shows anomalous battle outcomes throughout history. Every military archive contains accounts defying conventional explanation. What if question 5? What if displacement was deliberate? Assume advanced civilization with time travel capability decides to subtly alter history. They choose moments where intervention has maximum leverage with minimum alteration. Dunkirk is perfect target. Small number of lives saved, huge impact on later events. Strategic personnel extracted, knowledge preserved. History shifts by degrees rather than revolution. This theory suggests we live in maintained timeline, gardened by temporal engineers preventing collapse. What if question 6? What if Harrison's journal is instruction manual? Journal describes how it felt. Time became fluid. Instruments failed, but instinct worked. Helicopter responded to intent rather than control input. This sounds like phenomenological description of temporal displacement. What if other pilots read this and learn to recognize conditions? What if time displacement is not random, but skill that can be trained? What if consciousness itself can navigate time when physical laws break down? What if question 7? What if future sent them back deliberately? Assume 24th century humanity discovers timeline collapsing due to events in 20th century. Dunkirk is critical. If British Expeditionary Force completely destroyed, Britain falls in 1940. Without Britain, no D-Day. Timeline collapses. Future never happens. So Future sends 8 helicopters back to save 576 specific people who are linchpins of Timeline. Mission succeeds, Timeline stabilizes, Future is saved. Crew returns with memories, but no proof. First question. If you had 8 Blackhawk helicopters and could deploy them to any historical battle, which battle would you choose and why? Comment your answer. Would you save Roman 9th Legion in Caledonia? Would you reinforce Leonidas at Thermopylae? Would you evacuate Light Brigade at Balaclava? Every choice creates different timeline. What would you change? Second question. If you were Lieutenant Colonel Harrison and had to choose 8 soldiers to stay behind while 576 evacuated, how would you make that decision? Random selection? Volunteers? By age? By family status? This is trolley problem with real faces. This is command in its purest form. How do you choose who dies so others live? Comment your criteria. Third question. What other historical events show signs of technological anachronism? Ancient descriptions of flying machines, medieval accounts of impossible weapons, Renaissance paintings showing modern devices. Are these myth, misinterpretation, or documentation of other temporal interventions? Research and share what you find. Build evidence map of temporal anomalies throughout history. Fourth question. If time travel exists but creates paradoxes, how would you design intervention to avoid destroying timeline? What rules would govern temporal operations? Maximum number of personnel? Duration limits? Technology restrictions? Create your own temporal prime directive. Comment your regulations. Best answer gets featured in next video. Fifth question. Should we attempt to recreate Dunkirk displacement deliberately? If we understood mechanism, should we send forces back to change history? What if we could stop Holocaust? What if we could prevent world wars? What if we could save millions? Or would intervention create worse timeline? This is ethics of temporal engineering. Where do you stand? Comment your philosophy. Sixth question. What happened to damaged helicopter that vanished from Dunkirk beach? German records show it forced down. British records show no recovery. It disappeared. Where did it go? Did it return to 2025? Is it still there, buried under buildings, waiting to be discovered? Or did it phase out of reality entirely? Speculate and comment. Seventh question. If you received radio call from past requesting extraction, what would you do? Harrison received call from Fort Campbell while sitting in 1940. Causality loop implies he had to respond to complete circle. If your phone rang right now and voice from 1940 asked for help, would you answer? Would you believe? Would you act? Comment honestly. Final question. What should next video cover? Vote in comments.